General Math students, in this video we're going to continue using sine, cosine and tangent. Rather than finding the lengths of right angle triangles, we're going to use them to find unknown angles. So there's an example here, and the steps are very similar to what we've already done in the previous video, with just one slight change in the way we transpose or rearrange the equation at the end. So we're going to go through it in the very same way, where we name the sides relative to the angle. Even though we don't know this angle, that's the angle we want to find, so we name the sides relative to that. I'll get SOHCAHTOA ready. So we've got the opposite side and the adjacent side. So this one is going to involve tan. Now I remember what the car is in Two Old Angels Sitting Over Heaven Carrying a Harp. Anyway, so tan of theta, that's our unknown angle, and that is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So the O comes first, we're going to put the opposite on top of the adjacent. So the aim of this is to transpose and make theta the subject of the equation. So we want to take that tan over the other side and do the opposite of tan. So what happens to be the opposite of tan? Well, if we look down at our list here, we see that the calculator is doing a rather strange thing and scrolling through, but opposite of tan is the inverse tan here, this one. So I will choose that later, even though the calculator is going a little haywire at the moment. I'm not sure why. I'm sure we'll get it to work. So let's go back to our rearranging. We're going to have here theta equals, now that tan comes over and becomes inverse tan, right? So we're going to say inverse tan of all that stuff that was there. That's how we do it. So this is what we need to type into the calculator. So we just tap that one. Yep, it's let me. That's a little funny, but anyway, we got there in the end. 8.2 divided by, was it 3.1? Yes, 3.1. Enter, and we get 69.291 degrees. So we could say 69.3 degrees, or whatever number of decimal places we want to round to. Righto. So you might want to pause the video at this stage and try the next two. They might involve sine or cosine rather than tangent, but we just do the opposite of those. The opposite of sine is inverse sine. The opposite of cosine is inverse cosine, and pick the appropriate one. So I'll have a go at it now. So this first one, we have the adjacent, oops. We have the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. So that means cosine. We're probably getting quite good at these now. Cosine theta equals, now it's the 10.9 is the one that goes on top in this case. And then we rearrange and we get this. Okay. And so we put that into the calculator, and you should get that number there, 39.86, so forth. Okay, last one. The opposite side and the hypotenuse are involved here. That means we're going to do sine. 500 on 824. So theta is the inverse sine of those. And you should get that number there, 37.3582. Okay, so check out the description of the video for the questions to try to practice for this one, for this stuff. And I'll be there for you in the classroom if you have any difficulty with these.